My name is Clara Hayes, and I'm 30 years old. In less than 24 hours, I'll be sitting across from my father and my brother at a high-stakes defense contract meeting, and neither of them has the faintest idea that I am the Pentagon liaison with final approval authority. 5 years ago, I walked out of that house without looking back. I had grown tired of being the disappointment, the daughter who, in my father's words, threw away her future by joining the army instead of following the family plan. My father used to say, "The military is for people who ran out of options." That was the last meaningful thing he said to me. Tonight, I'm back in my hometown for a family dinner that feels like déjà vu and quiet judgment. My mother will talk about Ethan's promotion. My father will beam with pride. Someone will ask if I'm still moving around a lot, as though service were restlessness. I won't argue. I won't correct them. Because tomorrow, when their boss introduces me as Colonel Hayes in front of a boardroom full of executives, the silence that follows will say everything I never could. The driveway feels smaller than I remember. My rental SUV looks out of place beside my mother's aging minivan. I sit for a moment before getting out, letting the heater's hum fade into silence. My palms are dry. Steady. They call it military calm. But my stomach churns the way it used to before deployments. The porch light is on, glowing warm over chipped steps and an old welcome mat. The same scent greets me when I open the door. Lilac and lemon cleaner. The wall of family photos is still there. Ethan's wedding, his boys, his graduation. Not a single picture of me in uniform. Not even the portrait I mailed from my commissioning ceremony 5 years ago. "Dinner's almost ready," my mother calls from the kitchen without looking up. "Ethan and Lila are on their way. He just got another promotion. You won't believe it." I smile politely. "That's great, Mom." "He's leading the systems integration division now," she adds proudly. "Everyone says he's going places." That phrase, "going places," used to hurt. It sounded like a train I'd missed. Now it's just noise. The table is set for 6, as always. No name cards needed. The hierarchy has never changed. Ethan at the head, Dad to his right, Mom between them. I'll sit somewhere that doesn't matter. They arrive on time. Ethan wears that effortless confidence that comes with being constantly celebrated. "Hey, Claire," he says, hugging me quickly before turning toward Dad. "Long time." 5 years, I reply evenly. He blinks, unsure if I'm joking. I'm not. We eat roast beef, mashed potatoes, and the same salad Mom's made since I was 10. Ethan talks about his team's accomplishments, bonuses, restructures, and, most notably, the military project his division is handling. My father looks at him like he's the embodiment of every dream he's ever had. "Still traveling with the Army?" my mother asks politely. "More or less," I say. My father doesn't look up. "Still a captain?" "Something like that." Ethan chuckles. "Must be tough taking orders all the time. Not much long-term strategy in that line of work, huh?" I smile faintly and take a sip of water. My uniform is folded upstairs in my suitcase, its Silver Eagle insignia gleaming beneath the fabric. Tomorrow, they'll learn how much strategy I'm actually responsible for. Tonight, I let them talk. It's the last time they'll ever speak over me. Later, in my old room, I sit on the edge of the same twin bed covered by the quilt my grandmother made when I was 12. The shelves are still lined with relics from a version of me they used to believe in. Basketball trophies, honor roll ribbons, college acceptance letters. Everything stopped at the moment I joined ROTC. After that, I became the family's cautionary tale. No framed articles about my cybersecurity awards, no recognition for my deployments or promotions. Just a ghost in my own story. The day I told my father I'd earned a scholarship through the ROTC program, he looked at me like I'd burned my diploma. "The military is for people who don't have potential," he'd said. "You were meant for more." He meant his version of more, a business degree, an office under his mentorship, a life that looked like Ethan's. And Ethan, of course, stepped into the role perfectly. By the time I left home, the narrative was complete. I wasn't the daughter who chose differently. I was the daughter who wasted her life. Downstairs, I hear laughter, the familiar chorus of my father's deep chuckle, my mother's gentle hum, and Ethan's booming confidence. The sound of a tribe centered around a chosen heir. Ironically, the project Ethan had just been promoted to lead, the one he bragged about at dinner, is the same defense initiative I've been overseeing for months. Project Sentinel. Tomorrow at 0900, I'll walk into Westbridge Technologies in full uniform to brief the executive board as the Pentagon liaison. I'll be the final authority on the very system Ethan believes he controls. The next morning, I arrive 15 minutes early, as I always do. The parking lot is already buzzing with staff carrying coffee and laptops. I park in the reserved space marked Military Liaison, DoD Authorized, step out, and adjust my collar. Heads turn as I walk through the checkpoint. The guard scans my badge. "Good morning, Colonel," he says, tone crisp and respectful, the kind of greeting I've never heard at home. Inside, I take the elevator to the top floor. I've memorized the layout. There will be no surprises. The doors open, and there's Ethan, scrolling through his tablet. His posture relaxes until he sees me. "Clara, what are you?" he stammers. I don't stop walking. "Good morning, Mr. Hayes," I say evenly. "I'm here for the project review." Behind him, I hear my father's voice. He's talking to two executives, laughing, but the sound dies when he turns and sees me. "Clara," he says sharply, "why are you dressed like that?" Confusion, discomfort, calculation. Before he can gather his thoughts, Lorraine Hart, the CEO, rounds the corner and smiles. "Colonel Hayes, I didn't realize you'd be attending in person. Everyone, this is our Pentagon liaison for Project Sentinel. She has final approval authority for all military integrations." The hallway falls silent. My father blinks. Ethan's mouth opens, but no words come. I don't look at either of them. I don't need to. We file into the conference room. My name is already printed on a placard beside Lorraine's. I review my notes, calm and composed. The team begins their presentations. Engineers, directors, project leads. Each greets me with the kind of cautious respect reserved for people who can make or break careers. When it's Ethan's turn, he hesitates before standing. "As systems integration lead," he begins, "I've been developing a rollout strategy for Phase 2. I believe it aligns with our performance targets." I let him finish. Then, in the same steady tone I've used 1,000 times in briefings, I ask, "Mr. Hayes, could you clarify how your proposal accounts for the latency thresholds specified in our last Pentagon directive?" He blinks. I can revisit that portion." "Please do," I say. "Our benchmarks are non-negotiable." Silence. Then I move on to the next topic, as if nothing had happened. But everything had. When the meeting ends, my father lingers outside the glass wall of the conference room. His expression is unreadable. "We need to talk," he says finally. In his office, my mother is already seated, clutching her purse like a shield. Ethan stands by the window, arms folded. The old family tribunal, back in session. "You've been a colonel for how long?" my father asks. 6 months. "And you didn't tell us?" "I did," I say. "Emails, invitations, voicemails. You never replied." My mother interrupts softly. "We didn't understand what it meant. Colonel, it sounded important, but we didn't know." I nod. I stopped trying to justify my worth. Every call was about Ethan's projects, your quarterly numbers, your world. You never asked about mine. My father exhales. "So what do you want now? A headline? An apology?" "Neither," I answer. "Just respect. For my choices. For my work. For not being your version of failure." Ethan shifts uncomfortably. "You were fair today," he says quietly. "You didn't humiliate me." "I wasn't there to," I reply. "I was doing my job." He nods slowly. "You were impressive." My father looks at me. really looks at me, for the first time in years. "You've built something we don't understand," he says. "That's on us." Then he extends his hand. "Colonel Hayes," he says, voice low, "I owe you an apology." I take his hand. I accept. My mother stands, her eyes bright. "We'd like to try again, if you'll let us." "One step at a time," I say. And for the first time, I believe it's possible. 6 months later, my apartment in D.C. feels warm, not empty. My father arrives first, carrying a framed article. Colonel Clara Hayes leads cyber defense success. My photo is at the center, standing beside General Armstrong and Lorraine Hart. "Thought you'd want a copy," he says. "It's been on my office wall." My mother brings apple pie. Ethan and Lila bring wine and something lighter, ease. Over dinner, Ethan admits, "I implemented the changes you suggested. The team pushed back at first, but it worked." I grin. "Did you tell them where you got the idea?" He laughs. "Eventually." My father walks to my bookshelf, eyes scanning the medals and commendations. He pauses on one, the cybersecurity citation for stopping a foreign breach that almost crippled 2 federal networks. "I read about that one," he says quietly. "Didn't realize it was you." "It was," I answer. He nods. No grand apology, just acknowledgement. Later that night, he raises his glass. "To Colonel Hayes," he says, "who proved that worth isn't found in following someone else's path, but in walking your own." As our glasses clink, I look around the room and see something that never existed before. Recognition. Not pity, not politeness, but earned respect. That night, I understood something vital. The victory wasn't that they finally saw me. It was that, even if they hadn't, I still would have kept going. I thought I needed their approval to be real. But the truth is, I was already enough. Walking into that boardroom wasn't revenge. It was clarity. I didn't need to explain who I was. My presence did that for me. They once said I'd wasted my potential. Yet there I stood, leading the very project they built their careers on. That moment didn't erase the past. It transcended it. It proved something more powerful than validation, that you don't need to follow anyone's path to create your own value. So if they underestimate you, let them. Keep building, keep rising. And when the moment comes, don't shout, don't gloat. Just show up, fully, calmly. Because the strongest proof of who you are is never what you say. It's who you've quietly become.